Mark, I feel every time that we're on, we talk about Pogba and what things are like in the dressing room and whether Ollie's got all the support. That seems to have changed. Is that fair over the last few weeks?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got the support of the squad. I think he's definitely got that, and I think the big question is always about Pogba. You know, will he stay? Will he go? And I think it's 6-7 weeks now since his agent said that he wanted to leave, and ever since he said that, Mino Raiola, Pogba's been fantastic. He's played really well. Liverpool away, Burnley away, he's turned up. He's made a contribution. I think the view at United is that if Pogba can stay like this, if he cuts out the flashy stuff which he has done, make United a challenger again, maybe he'll want to stay at United. If United are competing for trophies, then he wants to be winning trophies and he wants to be earning big money. So at the moment in the pandemic, Man United look like they can certainly offer the money, and in terms of challenging for trophies, they're getting there. So maybe Pogba can have a future at United, but also the flip side is, do United want to keep him? And he's one of the best players when he plays, so I think yes they do. It's just about where they go in 6 months' time. But I think right now they're in a good place together, which is the first time I've been able to say that for a long time.
Meanwhile, Don, three games without a goal for Liverpool. Why can't they score?
Good question. I think there's lots of players for Liverpool out of form, and it's not just the front three. Trent's having a bad time. Andy Robertson didn't particularly have a good game. The knock-on effect, I think, from taking Jordan Henderson out of midfield and playing him centre-half is having a real impact. When you think of Liverpool, in their pomp, they have midfield players like Gino Van Alden, like Fabinho, like Jordan Henderson, and win the ball back, do the dirty work, give it straight to the strikers in the front three, relatively quickly. Now I think it's just taken a little bit of an age. I think Thiago had a great game, great home debut, and I'm not going to say a but the football seems a little bit slower, and that's the knock-on effect from Jordan Henderson and Fabinho playing back a position than playing centre-half. But Mo Salah's been missing. I think Liverpool are carrying him at the moment, and if Diego Jota was fit, I'm pretty sure Mo Salah wouldn't be in the side because his form's terrible at the moment. He'll bounce back, and so will Mane, and so will Firmino. But they just look a little bit stale to me, and I'll be surprised if Jurgen doesn't go in the window and try and add something somewhere, whether that's obviously a centre-half or just something different that's going to offer the squad some freshness.
We'll talk about possible transfers in a minute, Don, but what is it about Salah, I've seen your tweets, that gets under your skin more than any other player?
It just means Stevie, just watch him, and he doesn't do the basics very well. When Liverpool are trying to build up and you get the ball quickly to Mo Salah, he can do the most outrageous thing and score ridiculous amounts of goals and quality of goals. I'm thinking more last season in the Champions League. But then he can give a 5-yard pass away, then the whole move breaks down, and Liverpool have then got to win the ball back and go through the whole process again. At the weekend, he was running. He sort of played the game like a teenager. He was running like in a straight line, straight at Harry Maguire. And Maguire, all he had to do was stand up and stand still, and Salah was running into traffic and running into nowhere. Then there was little bits in the second half where he played on the right side, and he come up against Luke Shaw, who was brilliant, by the way. He was probably man of the match. And he got Luke Shaw twice inside the 18-yard box, 1v1, where I'm thinking, right, take him on. You can take him on, you can get a penalty, you can produce a little bit of skill. And Mo Salah went back the way and played it safe. And then Liverpool had to start the whole sort of process, the whole move all over again. And I just think he's going through that period at the minute where he's lacking so much confidence.
Stevie?
Well, I think I summed it up the other day when I said he's fighting with the ball all the time. And I'm 100% with Don. The basics of the game are where you go to regardless of what position you play. Because everybody has a hard time regardless of where they play. And so you go back to basics. Salah doesn't seem to have any basics. I mean, if you watch him, when he's passing a ball, he does all the things you tell kids, or if you're a coach, you tell people not to do. You don't pass the ball with your big toe. You don't flick at it. You try and make it move swiftly. You take a good touch and you move it along. Or if you're like Salah and you like going at people, then you do it in some sort of fashion. You don't just put your head down and run straight at people. I mean, without knowing where the ball is or what you're going to do, because that's kind of what he's doing. So, a player like him relies on those bits of genius. And when you rely on bits of genius and there's not an awful lot else, then you're in trouble when it disappears. When somebody steals your magic wand, you're not left with an awful lot. And that seems to be what's happening with this guy. His basics aren't there, and so when he can't produce a moment of magic. You don't get too much else.
Mark, we've got, what, a couple of weeks left before the transfer window closes. What's stopping Liverpool going out and getting a defender?
Well, money. There isn't any money there. That's the thing. I think if they're going to get one, it'll be a loan signing or a player that has got a contract situation under the club where they needed to get him out to lower his wages. There's just no money in the game right now. I think if in an ideal world they do what they did 3 or 4 years ago with Van Dijk and spend a lot of money on Upamecano at Leipzig, but it's just not going to happen. So they're looking around for a centre-half that, like I say, could be a 6-month loan, a short-term thing, because obviously Van Dijk and Gomez will be back next season, so they don't want to, spend too much on a player that might not play. But that's the problem within the game right now, that it's going to be a very, very quiet January because there's not a lot of money there. But on Salah, I think the one thing I'd be concerned about if I was a Liverpool fan was the fact that he very, very rarely gives interviews. He's very much one of these players that likes to keep his mouth shut. In the last month, I think he's done 2 interviews already, and on each occasion he's spoken about, well, I'm happy to stay here, but it's up to the club, we'll see. And he's not making the sort of comments that you think would come from a player that's happy there. And I think, alarm bells are ringing. He's the top scorer in the Premier League right now with 13 goals, but he's not playing well. And has he been distracted? Is his focus somewhere else? It's a difficult one right now, but Salah looks like he's not very happy right now.
Mark, just touching on the money situation, number of times we've put up graphics going, look at the net spend from Liverpool over the last few years and how great it is compared to some of the other sides. They won the league last year, won the Champions League the year before. Why? Surely if any team is going to have a little bit of money in the bank to spend, it should be Liverpool, shouldn't it?
Yeah, but they spend big on wages, and they've got to kind of cover that wage bill this season when, every club, every big club is finding it hard to make ends meet because nobody's coming through the gates. I think United and Liverpool are the 2 clubs that have been hit hardest. They're going to lose about 70, 80 million this season by not having people coming through the gates. They've been hit by, broadcasters having to give money back to broadcasters as rebates. So they're down big money, and when you talk about Champions League earnings, by the end of this season the big clubs like United and Liverpool's will be losing maybe £100 million. So that's why there's no money. Clubs don't want to be stretching themselves to bring new players in if they haven't got the money to cover it, and Liverpool have got quite an old squad as well, which doesn't offer much resale value if you look at the average age of the players. So Liverpool have been well running it from a business sense, and they're looking at the squad and the resale value. There's not a lot there, so they haven't got the money to go around.
Right then, Don, here we go. With the Liverpool squad as it stands, what percentage chance do you give them of retaining the league?
Get out. I've got no idea. I'll tell you what I would say is we've got 7 teams that seem to be in the title race at the moment. It's not a 50,
probably right. Don,
no
50-50 is probably right.
Listen, I've got no idea. There's 7 teams in the title race. I don't believe there is 7. I think it's a 3-horse race. I think it's Liverpool.
John, you just said there are 7 teams in the title race. I don't believe that.
No. If you look at the league table, you'll go any one of them 7, potentially with the points they've got, could win the league. I don't think it's 7. I think it's Man United, Man City, and Liverpool.
And who's your favourites, Don?
I think today it's Man City. But that could change in a week's time. That's the way the Premier League is this season.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.